All right, I am back in video 2 under Module 4 in mailing and follow-up to your motivated sellers. So we have a total of 4 modules. Module 1, we went over the overview of the direct mail system. Module 2, how to actually get your mailing list. Module 3, preparing your postcards on your computer. And in Module 4, we were going over printing, which we just did. And now I'm actually going to go through how we do the mailing and the follow-up of your handwritten postcards. Remember in the previous video, I showed you how to set up your cards to actually print off your computer and do the settings. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the mailing and the follow-up of your handwritten postcards. So let me go over what we're going to cover in this training. We're going to talk about stamps and how to use and purchase them. We're going to talk about how to control direct mail campaign workflows and delivery dates. And then we're going to show you how to follow up and track your leads. And specifically, I'm going to walk you through Vumber, which is a system I use to help manage my motivated sellers. So let's talk about stamps. We are actually going to be using first-class postage stamps. These are what normal people use when they mail a letter to an individual. Okay? I like to purchase them in rolls of 100. Yes, you can get them on the sheets of paper. They're bigger, they look prettier, but I find the rolls are easier to manage. They're all in one tight little roll. You know, it's 100 stamps. You specifically want the postcard stamps. They're 34 cents. A regular envelope stamp is 49 cents. So just by switching to this system, you knock 15 cents per letter off your overhead. That's pretty cool. So I like the rolls. So if you buy a roll of 100, this is simple math, it's costing you $34. You get 100 postcards out. The raw cost is 34 cents, which is basically 98.5% of our cost to do a handwritten postcard. So how do we apply them? Well, we can do it one or two ways before I show you that slide. Guys, putting the stamps on the postcard is really the only manual assembly piece you have to do. And if I had to pick one assembly piece, it would be this one. I have 2 teenage kids in my house, and I put them in a box with the stamps, and I pay them allowance anyways. And every 500 they do, I basically go out and get them a treat. We go out to dinner, we go for ice cream, we do fun stuff. But I'm going to tell you, they take a box like 500 and they have it done in less than like 30 minutes. They both attack it and it's done. I've personally sat in 1 hour and I was watching a webinar and I banged out 500. But I was under the gun to get it done. So if you really need to bang out to get postcard stamps done and you're in a jam, it's really easy to take them and apply them in a very quick manner. So if you get them in the roll, it's much easier. Yes, you can do the flat ones, but they're harder to track. Also, when I know the 100 rolls done, I've processed 100 postcards. So it's really simple. You do 100, you know 100 are done, clip them together, get them out in the mail. So if you're kind of a do-it-yourselfer, somewhat like I am, and you don't have a couple kids sitting around that want to help you out, you can get these anywhere. Just search on the internet. It's a stamp dispenser, and you actually load the roll of 100 stamps in there, and you can just swipe it in the corner of each postcard, and I got to tell you, this thing flies, the stamp. So guys, don't fret. Putting stamps on these is the easiest part of the process. It's no big deal. Yes, you can outsource it. You can literally outsource it to anybody. Just have someone who wants to stick stamps on there. I don't know, you can pay a penny or two, and I'm sure you'll have no problem having anybody do them because they go. But don't be surprised if they get 700 or 800 done in an hour. because if you're really focused, it wouldn't be that hard to do. So it's kind of a monotonous task. So going through the math, and I walked you through the ream before, between the cost of the ream, the 250 sheets, we have somebody cut them in quarters, we get 1,000. It costs you about 1.50 pennies for each postcard, so let's just round it. The stamp's 34 cents. Let's call printing 2 cents. So it cost you a total cost of 36 cents for each postcard. This is the simplicity of the handwritten postcard system. The math is all in plain day for you. There is no magic with setup cost and I've got shipping and all these hidden costs. You know now that your handwritten postcards cost 36 cents each to do. So let's calculate your postcard workflow. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the math backwards. So say you have a budget, and in this instance, you come to me and say, hey, Rick, I got $500 to spend to do these postcards. What can we do with $500? I think I can do some real damage with $500. I will tell you this. You call up a mailing company and tell them you got $500 to spend, and they're probably going to laugh you off the phone. With the handwritten postcard system, you're in control of everything. I started out using this system on less than $150 budget per month. So I know it works. So if you want to spend $1,000 or $1,500, you can really ramp this thing up. If you're just starting out with $100, you're just going to put in a little sweat equity and make this thing work, okay? But the power's in with you. So let's walk through the math. I got a $500 budget. Let's do some math here. $500, 36 cents is our production cost for everything. Gives you the ability to print 1,388 postcards. Real simple. I don't know where else you can print 1,388 postcards. Nonetheless, postcards that look like they were handwritten. If you had to pay somebody to hand write them, and I used to do that, I mean, you're looking at 25 to 35 cents before you even stick a stamp on it. So with $500, 1388 in postcards. So if we allocate our workflow here to get a consistent mailing program, here's how I would set you up. The average 4 weeks in a month, you need to produce 347 postcards per week. And the nice thing about the handwritten postcard system is you control everything. You're in control of your workflow. I think it's reasonable to think you can print 347 postcards by yourself in a 1 week to get out 347. I don't know where else you can stretch $500 in a direct mail system other than the handwritten postcard. So everybody get that? 500 divided by 36, 1388. We say that's what we're going to spend $500 for the month. So instead of taking all 1388 and dropping them on one shot, and you can do that, but what I recommend if you're just getting started in the system is spread it out. We want to keep those phones ringing all month long, and if you're new to this, you can work your way into it, and you will learn from each call you get from a motivated seller. So if you drop 347 a week, that will let you spread it out to spend the $500 per month. But what you can do is you have a systematic plan, and your goal is to produce 347 postcards per week. Now, I know what you're thinking. Go, Rick, what about my list cost? You're right. I didn't include list cost in this because you know why? When I first started out, buying a list wasn't even really an option for me. I would go around and collect addresses. I would pull listings off the internet. I would go through Craigslist. I would go through whatever means possible. I love driving vacant properties. I would work with realtors. I would go down to the county. You can pull lists that way. A little more advanced technique, but if you're creative enough and you're really tight on the budget, list cost, that might not even be an option for you. Okay, so list cost is great, it's convenient, but if I'm on a shoestring budget, I'm going to find a way to get my lists for absolutely free. And we'll talk a little bit later about that. I actually have techniques on where you can locate lists for free. But when you're starting out, if you got a tight budget, you need to get your list cost as low as possible. So if you only got $100 to spend in a month, I don't think you got $100 to spend on a list, because then you can't mail to it. So if you're on a shoestring budget, a list cost, you're going to create your own list. That's why I didn't calculate it in this example. So let's assume you want to purchase a list to do your mailing. Okay, let's take the same situation. On a $500 budget, the average list cost is around 15 cents a lead, give or take. I'm just using this as an example, but that should be about it. So if we add 15 cents to the 36 cents, our postcard production cost is 51 cents. So we take that same $500 and we divide it by 51 cents. That gives you the ability to produce 980 postcards with a mailing list. So let's take 980 postcards, still a very respectable number. If you want to stretch that out over the month and do a consistent workflow mailings, you're going to drop 250 postcards per week. I mean, every week for 52 weeks, drop 250. This is how you consistently get deals in this business. Okay? Don't be the guy who does 1,000-piece mailer and then you get 2 or 3 deals and then your pipeline dries up and you can't figure things out. You have got to master your workflow. The handwritten postcard system allows you to take full control of the entire process from start to finish, so you know exactly how to manage it. Now, if you want to bring in people to help you outsource certain processes, absolutely. Say, Rick, I want to spend $2,000 a month. More power to you. You could easily take your print file, take it to a Kinko's, an office supply store, or any type of printing house, and I'm sure they're just going to charge you, I don't know, maybe a nickel a print for the paper, everything. You can supply the paper, show them how to cut it, and come up with an agreement to them. And you can easily take this and outsource it, because printing, I don't know, 2,000 postcards by yourself might seem a little daunting. If you want to outsource it, you have the absolute control and ability. You control everything. You just figure out when you want them to deliver your product to you and how long it's going to take them to get it done. I promise you it won't take them 4 to 6 weeks. The most it's ever taken me on an outsourced production is 24 hours. There's no more excuses. I drop it off, I'll be back tomorrow, or call me when it's ready. Okay? And then once you get a relationship set up with them, you could just send them the print file and then go by and pick it up, or have your assistant pick it up, or however you want to do it. Okay? Let's talk about the guys who only got $100. Okay? You can do the math and figure this out. It doesn't matter what your budget is. Okay, this is my actual Vumber account. And Vumber is nothing more than an online service to quickly acquire a phone number. This does a couple things for you. It makes sure you're not handing out your personal cell phone to everybody, so you can separate your business from personal. And number two, if you want to acquire another phone number for additional marketing, you can use that. So say if you were going to market in another area with a different area code, you would want to get another Vumber number. I highly recommend to keep the area code in line with the area you're marketing to. So if you're marketing in a, say, a 321 area code, make sure your phone number is 321. That will insinuate that you are local, and you'll probably be easier to deal with, you'll be quicker, and you'll have more knowledge of the local market. So I like Vumber. I think it's around $10 or $11 a month, and it's about $4 for each additional phone number. If you want to drop a phone number, add a phone number, you can just click a mouse and it easily happens. Also, make sure that you get a phone number that has SMS that means it can receive texts. We're finding more and more customers want to be able to text their information. That's typically the younger crowd, 40 and under, not the older. So that being said, let me walk you through. These are actual phone numbers that come in. The caller, this gives their ID of their phone number. This is the phone, my phone number it's registered from. And so if they leave a message, like in this particular one, let me mute that for you. You can click there and play the message. And the neat thing about this is you set up you can have it forwarded to your email account. You can set up a separate voicemail email account, and it sends the actual voicemail in a WAV file to the email. So it keeps a database of all your voicemails, or you can just log into Vumber and you can do it like this as well too. So it'll give you, I scrolled way back on this list. I don't use this phone number anymore, by the way. Is 9/22/2014 at 7:22. It'll even tell you how long the minutes were. Now, a couple words of advice for you. If the voicemail you set up on this, you have two different ways you can answer the calls. If you're busy and you have a full-time job, I highly recommend just letting it go to voicemail, and your voicemail is simply going to say, hey, you've reached Rick Ginn. I'm sorry, I'm out at the moment. Please leave your name, number, and I will get back with you shortly. Really simple, it's personable, and leave it like that. Do not run them through, give me the property address, your motivation level. They're probably just going to hang up on you. Okay? The other way is if you are in this business and you're digging hard for a deal, my advice is just answer every phone call. What do you have to lose? You're going to learn on every one of them. So if you're only doing like 100 postcards, you need to put the odds in your favor. You always have a better shot if you answer the phone. You just have to connect with people and solve their problem. If you do that, you will get a deal. Now, if you have thousands of postcards, you have to figure out the best system for your business. So if you're busy, set up a simple voicemail. If you want to take every call live, you can take every call live. If you happen to miss one, it goes to voicemail, you call them right back. If they don't leave a voicemail and they hang up, you still capture their phone number. And in my experience, that's a lead, and we follow up on it. So this tracks the phone number, it tracks the message, it all forwards to an email account for you, or you can log in your Vumber account or do both. And what you can do is click that export button, and it will take this information and put it in an Excel spreadsheet. And since I've actually taught you how to do simple sorting on Excel spreadsheets, this is that same information, and I'm just going to get rid of the stuff I don't need, like the account and stuff. I want to keep the important information like the call time and date. Duration might be important, and obviously the originating phone number. This is the phone number that the campaign it came from. And obviously they're all inbound calls, so I don't need that. And looky here. I just showed you how to automate your tracking system. This is for if you don't work with a CRM and you're just looking to get the basics. This is as simple as it gets. This is how I first started out doing it. The system gets more advanced. If you want to work with a CRM, you can actually have the voicemails uploaded into like Podio. I think there's some great tools with FreedomSoft you can use. Just if you want to step up your game, you can work with a CRM, but I'm giving you the basic tools for the guy who's just wants to work his or her entire system. So here's the call time and date, duration, the phone number it came from, and your marketing phone number. Now, you could put here, if you follow up on them, say you call them on 7/24, maybe left message. And you can kind of track however you want to do it. It's been a long time since I did it this way, but you can, this is your own personal database, but you really can't screw this up because all you did was click the export button and bam, it loaded in an Excel spreadsheet. And then you say, left message, call tonight, 7 p.m. And then you could just keep following over to the right. You should at least follow up 5 to 6 times a minimum. And I'd keep punching up, and you could set your spreadsheet up accordingly. But this is just a really simple tool you can use to follow up and track your motivated sellers. If the person hung up on you and didn't leave a message, you need to call them. If they called, they're a lead. Well, Rick, they hung up. I'm a little bit scared. Well, maybe they're a little bit nervous too. They don't know you. Maybe they think you're going to judge them with their situation. So just call them back and be a real person and try to help them solve a problem. Now, I get this all the time. Hey, Rick, what do I do if they call and they say something nasty to me? Just be nice and move on. Okay, you're going to have tough skin in this business. My personal experience is the more people you touch base with, the more deals you will do. You should repeat that aloud. The more people you contact, the more opportunity for doing deals. Bar none. Okay? So, everybody got this? I'm going to go back to my Vumber here. Real simple. Look it up, Vumber. There's a bunch of different other systems. One other idea for you. There are programs that you can actually take once you store these phone numbers. After 30 days, what I do and what a lot of investors do is you can copy and paste the phone numbers, and you can actually get a texting service or a voice broadcasting service. I know Callfire is a popular one. There's Slide Dial, stuff like that. And you could automatically call them and text them and just do some follow-up, because I mean, you'll see that your Vumber really, after a while, it really blows up. So it just depends on any one of my Vumber accounts will have 200 or 300 phone calls in a month. But you can see that month, after about 90 days, I might have a database of 700 or 800 phone numbers, and what an opportunity to market these people. The key is to systematically capture the information. This is why I like Vumber. There's other options out there for you, but I try to keep it simple with the handwritten postcard system. So this wraps it up in regards to how to do your mailing. We talked about the stamps. We know our costs. We talked about the workflow, how to break it up to fit your budget, not anybody else's budget, your budget. And the last but not least, the simple way, how to work in Vumber to manage and track your motivated seller. So this is Rick Ginch signing off with the handwritten postcard system. I want to thank you for sharing this time with me, and I know you're going to do phenomenal with the handwritten postcard system. Best of luck, and I will speak with you soon. All right, I am back.